Welcome back to LCS Challengers League. I'm Mazel, joined by Kangas and Cubby yet again as we dive headfirst into our second series of the day. Now, as a little bit of that catch up here, we did get to see a 2-0 from Dignitas. We also got to talk to ZZ Legendary, which was a great time. But now, Immortals, Progressive Challengers versus TSM Challengers. It couldn't be more fun, and a lot of heat coming into this one as well, Kangas.
This is exciting for me for a very different reason from the last time, because last time it was like a Dignitas Challengers coming in. Are they going to hold on to that first place? They're looking like the best team. This one's more of a scrap between two teams that have had slower starts and can start to pull away from the pack that's unfortunately starting towards the bottom. So very different kind of stakes for this kind of match, but still I think there's a lot of weight behind it.
What about you, Cubby? What you got? What do you think about this this starting matchup, especially with some of the old blood and new blood that we have coming around?
I mean, these are our two challenger teams that have the worst records, so a good chance for each of them to pick up some wins. I know that I was in the IMT camp this week, got to visit their scrims on Friday and actually see the LCS team win as they were at home due to the audio issues, but it was actually really fun to visit because I feel like IMT, you know, they felt like this was their first real week of practice, given the fact that ADD and the Bolulu were just both getting in. And they think that they, were able to improve quite a bit this week, are excited for how things move forward. They did split that series thanks to some incredible play from Bolulu on Saturday. And we'll see if they can continue to push things in the right direction, as they feel like that's where things are headed.
And I think things are headed in the direction of who can take control of the jungle early in this matchup, especially. And when you look at who we've got, Chad versus Vince Garen, it's important to focus on what early pathing we'll see, the spice that we've seen. We've seen Chad's Rengar a couple times now as well. But I do want to go ahead and talk about this IMTC roster a little bit more. Hopefully get to see their faces here shortly. But as Chad has come into his own this year with this roster, now with a little bit of strength from Wixie and Joey in the bot lane, I'm very interested at how they kind of progress. And as you would kind of foreshadow to earlier, Kangas, push themselves above that middle of the pack.
Yeah, Chad's a player that obviously is going to draw a lot of eyes to him whenever he plays because of his play style. Very unique, very aggressive, very early game focused. But also I think it's cool to see players like Wixie making their comeback tour to the semi-pro scene. There's a lot of reasons to be a fan of this team. But Cubby hit on something important there, is that Bolulu has I think this is his first weekend with the team, right? Or was
full week.
First full week.
Yeah. First full week of practice. He did have a couple games last week. The Vel'Koz player, the ranged artillery mage, right? And I think that now that they've had some time to gel, I'm hoping that they can finish a little bit stronger, because there are so many players that you want to root for when you look at a roster like the one we're about to take a look at.
Yeah, Immortals, Progressive Challengers. Now, as we see some of their faces, obviously missing ADD and Bolulu here, we'll hopefully have replacements soon. But again, I guess we did put the highlight on Chad, Wixie, and Joey, but I love to see that kind of integration with ADD, Bolulu, where that growth comes to, especially in developmental league like this. And with some of those kind of high-end performances we got to see little snippets of last weekend, Cubby.
I think Bolulu actually, again, that second game they played on Friday, Bolulu, solo saved them that game on the Silas. And I really want to see if Bolulu can continue to play aggressive and be a playmaker for this team. He is someone that really excites me. But also, I think it's a good chance for Wixie and Joey to step up today. As Wild Turtle and Dracu just got in, only had 3 days of practice and being in NA before this weekend. Wild Turtle, had to play with now 3 supports, which isn't ideal for TSM in the 3 weeks. So I think it is a chance for, hopefully, the members of IMT and their bot lane to step up against people that don't have as much practice with each other yet.
And it's perfect to bring up the TSM Challengers roster. We've seen such strengths, it feels like, from this top side of the map. Hanser and Svenskeren playing so well together, it feels like, especially when Hanser can find a little bit of a lead in the top side match. But that's where I think the focus is deservedly so towards Wild Turtle. Is he going to step up to the occasion with this new support? Is Doxa going to find those diffs that we know him for? And we've, again, just like we were kind of saying with the other side in ADD and Bolulu, we've seen some of those bright moments from TSM, Kangas.
So TSM's bot lane, if we're being honest, we kind of gave the disclaimer, multiple different sports coming in, but they've been struggling. The TSM Challengers bot lane has been the big weakness that we've seen, where oftentimes they are just falling behind. And this is a big opportunity then for Immortals, Wixie, to step up and come in here. But also, I think the jungle and the top half of the map is something important to talk about, because Svenskeren is a very solid jungler. He has, I think, still been performing admirably so far in this split, despite the team's record overall. And honestly, I don't know if you have a different opinion, Cubby, but I feel like Svenskeren's kind of the perfect jungler to go up against Chad, because I feel that Chad's early aggression is something that Svenskeren, I have confidence that he can actually contain.
It's been different styles for sure. And I think the unique part about TSM, especially with this clip, is that you can see big commitment around playing around the top side. And it's been going well for TSM. Like, Haunter as a player has the second highest gold differential at 15 out of any player in NACL. It's over 1,000. And it really speaks to how well Haunter not only is laning, but how well Svenskeren and TSM are playing around. And this clip is a great example of that, as you know, they're able to take the Herald, his own kill out of the jungle after they make the bot lane play. So TSM are able to cross-map and trade, something they've been doing very, very well in this split. And we'll have to see that continues today. And if ADD can survive the onslaught that TSM has been putting onto top laners, I know it's a bot lane-focused meta. TSM's been playing towards top, and it has been giving them success up there.
Whereas Chad on your screen right now, he's been playing... Honestly, I think mostly through the mid lane and bot lane from what we've seen so far. I think Bolulu slotting in is working well with him, but this is just kind of like a look at his style. He goes for these aggressive plays on his own, leading the charge. He'll always try and punish his jungle opponent a little bit more than you would necessarily expect, and is just so confident in his own play, his own ability to just make things happen, regardless of if he has the team right behind him or not. He's kind of the tip of the spear for Immortals.
This man took Rengar twice in a row after his first game, did not go the way he wanted it to. Like, he is confident in his own power, and I think that's where we've seen a lot of the strengths when he is given those resources in the past, Cubby.
And yeah, we could see IMTC. Shout out to our producers for throwing this up for us last second. This was their pregame routine. Going
They're all so
TSM.
Cool and calm.
Trying to find some
even got Xmithy in there.
Yeah, before Xmithy, you know, takes down some old rivals. Xmithy versus Svenskeren. Honestly, an iconic jungle matchup that we had in NA for many years. So he gets to take on some familiar foes as a coach this time around. Maybe the meditation, you know, maybe that's something that he learned, you know. In those,
we should do it, Cubby. Do it.
See if the meditation happens. We will meditate ourselves into the draft as we are ready for game number 1. So,
thank you, Mazel, as we meditate our way into pick and ban. Cubby,
I got to keep an eye open for when you stop. So,
I'm done. I stopped already. You're good. You're safe to come back in. It was a brief meditation. You hit the nail on the head with the playstyle matchup that I want to focus on going into this one. TSM have been playing through the top side of the map, and honestly, ADD coming in here, he's had a lot of experience. He's played in Korea, he's played in China, he's played in Latin America before now coming into Immortals Academy, now Immortals Challengers, and I think Haunter should be favored in this matchup. Like, I think this is a legitimate lane that you could say, play to Haunter, try and win through that lane.
Haunter's been playing so well in this early season. Again, I really felt bad for a lot of the TSM players, because it felt like the community was kind of, you know, going after how TSM was using this NACL slot. And like, especially like when I look at Haunter, and this guy played so many games last year in solo queue. He was consistently over 1K LP in Challenger, and it's really showing on the Rift this split, even with a year off of competitive. Haunter has not dropped a beat. He has been caving top laners' heads in with the help of Svenskeren. They've been playing around top lane so well, and I really want to see if that can continue, and if ADD, who was originally, you know, the tank Scion specialist back in the MVP days when he was in Korea, can survive that onslaught. Because TSM, they've been putting top laners in the dumpster, just haven't turned that into enough wins.
Yeah, ADD has definitely struggled on this kind of like bruiser carry meta that we found ourselves in here in the Challengers League. Is the only other player beside Moosehater to pilot the Garen, by the way. He did pull that one out as well.
He did lose Heart of the Garen. It was the next day he pulled it out.
Didn't pick up a win on it himself, but it is something to note there. But that, I think when we're looking at the biggest win conditions for TSM, I think stylistically there's a couple top laners that we do favor Haunter going into, and I would say that this is one of them, which means that Immortals Challenger, I think they should put their attention elsewhere. Play to Wixie. This is Wixie's opportunity. This is his moment to really step up and show his development as an individual player.
I think Wixie's been pretty solid so far this split with Joey, so definitely is something that we're going to have to look out for to see if they can continue to do that today. Again, Wild Turtle Draku, they just started playing this week together, so looking forward to seeing how they scale. I enjoyed catching up with Draku and some of his goals as well going into this split. He is enjoying his time for NA. It's a huge step for a lot of these Oceanic players just make it to NACL. It is a big pay bump compared to the Pro League and Oceanic for the majority of the orgs, so it is a big step in his career, and he's got a great opportunity learning around all the experience that Haunter and Svenskeren have around him.
I think Dragku, I haven't chatted with him personally, but according to his Twitter, he has like a bodybuilding coach. I got to talk with this guy at some point.
Wow.
I feel like,
that's not you? You
might
could be
be
his
one
coach.
of those players that I could actually do some fitness content with. That'd be super fun if we can get that in at some point. But let's see what his performance is like on the Rift right now as they lock in the Ashe and the Maokai. Most likely Ashe going into Dragku's hands, as that has been the meta so far.
We will see. Now, I gotta say, for IMT, they have a very strong core. And Sejuani, Lucian, Nami, we saw this draft a lot on the A patch and now the B patch. You can find the two melees to play around Sejuani later, and Lucian, Nami are pretty resilient themselves. But TSM, I think this core they have is good. Ashe Maokai from ahead is so oppressive to play against because between the saplings and the hawk shots, you always have knowledge as TSM where the enemy's at. So if they're able to get ahead, I think Maokai still snowballs leads very effectively on this patch. His numbers were taken down, but he still does the same things. Just a little bit less oppressive, but he still was the highest presence champion at a 70% win rate in the games he's gotten through in NACL coming to today. So TSM, first picks, pretty good for them.
And even if you're playing from behind, the information that the Maokai Ashe can give you feels pretty good. This is the type of bot lane where we have seen that they can get their own priority and really shove in these lanes. Now, it's not the Elise like we saw Dignitas piloting last series, where that was the focus. You're hard focusing the bot because that was banned out, obviously. Maokai will have a different effect on a game than an Elise would. I don't think that you're as reliant on just hard stomping the early game.
If this is a Jace ban, okay, it's a Akali ban. Are we maybe looking for something like a Camille for Haunter later? That's my question. Akali does tell me that they're probably going to take an Azir for Doxa here. And we will see if Azir is taken away from IMT, as that is a pick that, they aren't as keen to, given the Sejuani showing for them. And something that, with the Akali and Sylas now being taken off the table, I feel like TSM is trying to open up for Doxa.
And Doxa, of course, the
Azir's
actually banned away, so Doxa will not get that. The pilot won't get the Kassadin. The other,
we could go Syndra.
Champions he has.
We have seen Syndra paired up with this heavy backline core of Ashe Varus quite a bit in this league. Could be another option for Doxa if TSM chooses to blind a mid laner here. Oh,
this is a very different look than we expected. The Sion locked in, taking it away from ADD.
If anyone's going to know how to play in the Sion, it's going to be ADD. When this guy was an MVP, Sion was a three-way flex back in the Banner and Command meta. That MVP team was one of my favorites to watch all time because they played crazy stuff between ADD and max support. If any LCK fans are in here, that's way back, but that was a good time in the history of LCK. With that said, it will be the tank war as ADD does decide to lock in that Ornn.
Well, hear me out. What if Doxa pilots the Sion, and this is a bait so Haunter can still get the counter pick? Ooh.
Curious.
Yes.
We'll have to see. Mid lane taking down quite a few notches in this draft. So Victor would not surprise me here for Bolulu, as that is something that you can blind. Me having no hands, that's actually my blind in solo queue. Love Victor.
Oh.
Yeah, hands are not good over here.
It's actually my only mid laner that I play too.
Excellent.
I'm a support main, but if I have to play mid, then I will go Victor.
All right, I think it's an Ori lock-in. I've been advocating for Ori more in the meta, especially given a lot of mid laners take it away. Ori, you can make plays on Victor with the Shockwave early, and you combo pretty well with Maokai, Sion, and you can buy space for the Ashe Varus. So it's a little bit of a better laning phase compared to the Syndra versus Victor matchup, and it looks like TSM putting a little bit more emphasis on that with Yori.
Yeah, but this is just such a different look from TSM Challengers than I expected coming into this, though, because I thought it would be Haunter piloting a carry, get him on the Fioras, get him on the Jaxes, something that he can try and split push and carry a game solo. Not going to be the case. The Sion is the tank. It is the defensive pick that will probably be playing more weak side and just trying to create space for other players to carry.
I think that's a great point. I mean, we teased coming into this matchup quite a bit that TSM's been playing heavily around the top side. So having Haunter blind the tank and the ADD, yeah, it was a big surprise, quite frankly. So much different look for TSM. And I'm really curious to see how they adapt. This is something that we haven't seen as much from them this split.
What are the odds that Haunter holds on to his, like, second place in goal differential of 15 or whatever that was?
Sion wins early.
Stats have been crazy.
Sion wins early. That's all I'll say.
Oh, so maybe this is Haunter saying, keep me the stats. You know, just grab me something I can win early lane with. Obviously, that's not the case. It will be about building up Hanky, trying to get into that late game team fight. This could be the first more like front to back from both teams that we've seen so far today.
Well,
if ADD gets in the game, it looks like he just left the game.
Oh, we don't want that. I have a feeling that, you know, it's just a spectator bug, and we're gonna be good to go for this one, Kangas, as it is set 2, game 1 on the day. Both of our challengers teams, who are the lowest in the standings out of our 10 fixed or challengers teams in NICL, looking to put some wins on the board against one another.
Early invade from TSM challengers coming in. Don't spot anybody, and they back off. All right, maybe a little anticlimactic, but end of the day, they wanted to look for something fish or something. And ADD will probably get a late ward dropped in topside. If Svenskeren goes towards the top clear, that will be spotted, giving Immortals some early information.
Gotta say, I think that on the side of TSM, again, if you get ahead as Ash Malachi, you are so oppressive. And I like the fact that Svenskeren is showing early that it looks like he's going to be working towards this bot side. It will be matched by Chad. But I think that this different approach for TSM, I do really want to see if they're able to execute and adapt in a way that, you know, we haven't really seen from them so far this split.
And interesting to note there that the ward has not spotted Svenskeren yet. We'll see if he passes up to the red buff, and okay, he does. Cool. I was going to say that might have been a nice little bait, because most junglers just assume that you're starting topside. It's kind of the standard, because then you're going to path towards the bottom lane. It's so important down there. You let them start in lane rather than having to leash you. But doesn't actually mean too much here, because he is just pathing up to those Krugs.
And I do like this clear when you set up the fact that you can go for a second clear. You know, the perks of going the AoE camps early is that they actually respawn earlier. You keep red buff a little bit longer. So I think that when it is mirrored clears, this does benefit the Maokai, especially the second time around when you have access to those camps a bit earlier. As ADD actually did ding 2 first, and he gets a really nice trade on Haunter.
I know you said the Sion wins the lane matchup, but you also said if anybody knows how to play into the Sion, it would be ADD. So showing that off right now, hits level 2 first and wins an early trade. Both junglers now making it to their bottom camps here. Svenskeren stopping on the Wolves, and okay, ADD is just going in right now. Hits level 3 before Haunter. Doesn't get the solo kill, but was about 2 autos away.
Oh boy, Chad gets here early too. That's a flash already, but can they get Chad?
Ooh, he went right from buff to the gank, skipped out on the smaller camps, and almost takes down Dragku. Gets the flash out of him. Has to flash himself, though. Nobody dies.
That still is a very favorable trade, though, getting a flash out of Ashe, because, again, this is something that Chad, IMT, can target on the other, or the next clear, I should say, as they work their way towards bot. With that said, Chad showing here, he understands that this bot crab, it doesn't look like he wants access to it. Instead, just going to base, sprint towards that top crab, and circle out his second clear again.
And Wild Turtle actually goes for a very early back himself, picks up the second longsword, and will run back into this lane. So Dragku will have to catch a couple of minions worth of CS there. Now we'll make it back. The Lucian Nami is one of the best bot lanes right now at punishing a flashless ranged AD carry, so it is still scary for Dragku, but the barrier should keep him safe enough, and now we got a reset even from Wixie and Joey as the junglers are looking to go topside.
Svenskeren actually looking for the double crab. I'm wondering how frisky he gets here. Oh boy.
Doesn't have smite, and Chad gets it. Okay.
So Svenskeren's yet to base. I mean, Chad's only sitting on boots, but you can see Chad, actually sprinting up towards this top side again. Haunter is low. We have TPs available for each of our top laners. You can see Haunter starting to take advantage of this matchup. ADD trading very heavily.
In on the fight, though.
Chad.
are coming at the same time. Haunter earlier with his jungler.
TP.
ADD's in trouble. Teleport from
Bolulu's here.
ADD's buying time. He flashes away to safety. The interrupt from Chad onto Haunter.
Bolulu's here.
They want Sion to go down first when he gets the passive, but Bolulu is making it an unfair fight with an early double kill on the Victor.
And even on the Victor, Bolulu still finds a way to make plays. That's a blue buff for him, and I love the response from IMT. This was opened up by the fact that Bolulu, he was winning his own lane. You know, you got TP out of Doxa to come back to lane. Bolulu was able to find the shove. He then has a TP timer to go up top and makes full use of it.
The bot lane's getting very aggressive. The Ashe Varus combo. Yeah, Varus as an AD carry a little more intimidating than the support when you got the Ashe as the support. Getting the slows in so Varus can output that damage. Nice trades there. But Bolulu, the real winner of the last couple of minutes, even gets a wave top side. ADD resets, goes mid. Catches that wave, but let's get a replay.
I gotta admit, this was really awkward because Svenskeren. So by flashing over there, you don't get spotted by the crab if you cover the Herald Pit. I actually missed that flash, but Svenskeren dodges out on Chad. It gets the fast track. I do like this from Svenskeren. I mean, this is a winning play for TSM. It's just the Bolulu TP, the fact that he got it out of Ori to go back to lane, that completely breaks the play as Bolulu sacrificed a lot for himself to win. But now Turtle
taking damage under the turtle, but Dragku's got his back and will pick up the kill on the Wixie.
Great flash into the brush where they didn't have vision from Turtle. And this bot lane that has just come together is able to find a really important 2v2 kill. Again, this is the game plan.
Joey with the bubble.
Oh, no flash.
Tried to space Dragku there, but Chad can't get in range.
Well done, though, for TSM. Again, this is a very different look for them this game, right? We have a Maokai. We're pathing towards bot. We have this double-range bot lane. We've seen a lot of, like, Xayah Nautilus lanes and TSM playing weak side. But this time around, when they're given resources, keep in mind, Chad's affected this lane. He hasn't affected, I should say, Svenskeren hasn't gotten into this lane for TSM. So TSM, even with Chad getting the flash out of Dragku, are still able to cash in on this double range bot lane, the early lane priority, and get themselves a lead.
Very close play, but Dragku's feeling good, picking up that kill. That means that, yeah, like you said, no punishment from the earlier plays, and they actually find themselves ahead right now as Dragku's getting onto the map. He's roaming into this top half. The Herald spawning soon. Svenskeren throws out the ultimate a little early. Won't commit onto Bolulu underneath the turret. I think that's pretty wise. Ooh, Haunter could be in trouble here. Chad's running in.
ADD's trying to body block the ult.
Yeah, and now Chad's there as well.
They got
Haunter tries to buffer. He's getting CC'd. He's getting locked down. Svenskeren's here with Sion passive. They might be able to turn this. ADD running away. Haunter chooses to go onto Chad instead, who Flash is just coming off cooldown, and he can actually run away. They don't kill either member.
So he actually smited to proc the Nimbus Cloak. That meant that Chad was able to pick up some move speed. The fact that he went Blue Tree with Phase Rush, that got him extra move speed using a summoner spell to get out. So really cute there by Chad to make sure that he was able to buy some space, get out of that. And the top lane, this time around, ADD had counter pick, and he's making good use of it with the help of Chad.
Up a little bit of gold. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's still 2 tanks, so it doesn't feel crazy impactful, but it's cool to see that even when it's tanks, Haunter and ADD are pulling attention up into this lane. This is probably the most action that I've ever seen an Ord and Sion lane produce.
I will say, with all the focus being on top, TSM, they're winning this bot lane on their own. And when junglers show top all the time here, this is enabling Dragku and Wild Turtle to really step up. Like, they've taken 2 plates for themselves already. Almost have another one down. And again, this is a very lane-focused draft for the bot lane of TSM. So the fact that they have been able to take a solo lead and almost had that second plate for themselves, I think that part of it is, the fact that junglers are showing on the top side. They can step up and really use that range.
I'm honestly scratching my head a little bit as to why we've seen so much attention topside. Like, Sion Ornn, I don't see either of these as the win conditions, or either of these junglers as like, okay, give me the gold from these plays. I think that Chad could put a little more attention into this bottom lane, but a second plate goes over to TSM Challengers now. As we had said coming into this, the Wild Turtle had been struggling with his support pairings. Dragu coming in now, first weekend playing with the team, and they're actually beating Wixie and Joey together.
Now, it was a trade, so Chad did solo down that Rift Herald, but I think given the map for TSM, the fact that Scion's behind, this is fine with TSM. They don't get 2 plates solo, and Wixie and Joey were still able to farm the waves, so TSM getting the Dragon, I think it does favor IMT and Hole a little bit, but with TSM being behind on the top side, they're making the most out of the situation.
Chad's got to play ward in there. Okay. Oh, I thought he would go for the Arctic Assault steal and then try and flash out, but doesn't go for it, so that is Dragon picked up by TSM Challenger. Also find themselves with a slight gold lead, but this could lead to more.
Joey.
Ash Arrow used, hits onto the
That's the chain.
A lot of damage back onto Wild Turtle. Flash forward from Wixie, but he doesn't have enough. Oh, limit testing, but the limit is on TSM Challenger's side. Double kill over to the team.
That is huge for TSM because now they're going to pick up these plates. And, you know, that play, I was talking about the Rift Herald trade, like, hey, they didn't dive bot, they didn't take any resources away from them. Well, now they have, and we'll see if Turtle can react flash.
Turtle actually doesn't need to. He just sidesteps. Chad misses the Glacial Prison, and Dragu had a big enough health bar that he's able to just walk away.
And this is great for TSM, but honestly, this is something that TSM's been doing well this split. It's getting early game leads. They are 6th out of all teams in NACL, despite having the 2nd worst record out of challengers being towards the bottom of our standings, and gold dip at 15. But this has been a different type of early game lead from TSM because it's in the bot lane. And TSM showing that, yes, we can play both sides of the map. We might have been playing towards Haunter for the majority of this split, but attacking bot lane at a point of, I think, potential strength for this IMT roster, it's opened up a 2K gold lead for TSM. And I think that this comp is much easier to execute than some of the other comps they've taken where they've gotten outscaled in the later stages of the game. This one will not get outscaled. And I want to see if TSM can turn this into a pretty clean victory, because when I look at the lead bot, they have a lot of potential to do damage in this mid game, especially with this Poke Ferris.
And that's the meta right now. It's about playing through the bot lane, and that was a concern of TSM. Part of why they had this crazy early game stat, but were losing most of their games, was the fact that they were playing through topside. They weren't able to play through their bot lane. If this is the new look for TSM and they can get this kind of performance going forward with Dragu now in the support role, massive boon for TSM Challenger as Joey and Wixie are getting focused again. Now junglers are going bot lane. Svenskeren throws out the Nature's Grasp. Teleport in from Bolulu. That's the summoner spell down. They pull off their dive. Oh, Wixie almost died for that, though.
Dox is here. They could get cute.
More.
Okay.
Okay. Not in range. Oh, that was Wixie. The sliver of a health bar barely lives.
I actually really like... See what Haunter's doing at base right now? He is waiting. He was thinking about TPing a bot and then ulting to hit this turret. And he's actually still waiting in case there was any play that's going to break out. But he's going to go TP top to catch that wave. Yeah, just one of the small things that I think TSM doing in this game. And, you know, doesn't turn into anything. But a nice idea from Haunter. Showing off, you know, full kit of these champions we've got.
Haunter did try and use his ult top lane, though. Maybe trying to clear the wave while ADD was still under turret. We didn't see when the ultimate was used or what stopped it. But either way, he doesn't get much for it. Now Bolulu committing to the bot side. Wixie actually backs and goes mid.
Can they get this Herald in? Svenskeren stopped it in the wave. And they're going to fight over it. Dox is here.
Chad's going forward. Doxa coming in. Double flash from Joey and Bolulu.
He was 51 HP away from dying, and we got minion blocked on the side of Wild Turtle. So wasn't able to finish the Herald. That does crash. There's a couple plates, but now Haunter.
Oh, ADD with the solo kill in the tank v tank matchup. Nicely done.
Able to get on out as well as the zombie Scion can't pick anyone up. And ADD, he's going up against his best champ. He was the tank specialist originally, and he's showing that off in this one. As I gotta say, that TP from Bolulu, keep in mind, this matchup is still being affected by that early TP Bolulu made to the top side Kangas. That's what's helping ADD, you know, make sure that he is able to beat the Scion later. I did say Scion wins early. You don't win later against the Ornn. Ornn hits too good, man, when he puts some points into the rest of his abilities. So ADD cashing in.
The import players coming in for Immortals Challengers, they were a little late to their positions, but they're slotting in nicely. Bolulu coming in from Turkey and the EMEAs, and of course ADD coming in from all over the place. He's played in so many different regions, and they are delivering right now for Immortals. 2-1-2 for the Ornn, 2-0-0 for the Victor.
And all eyes now are on this dragon, but that's no flash.
Ooh, the chain CC from both ultimates. Bolulu, though, actually dishes it out just as much as he takes it. Wild Turtle has to heal.
Oh, no.
With the Leandri's burn coming in, Shad just throws out the Glacial Prison onto Dragku to say, get out of my way. I want Wild Turtle, and the Varus is down. Now Joey, it'll call Flash out of Svenskeren. ADD even walked all the way down here. We got a full-on team fight for this dragon in TSM's jungle. What? Immortals, with just more champions on this side of the map, are able to surprise TSM Challenger, who are not expecting a fight there.
I am so... What? Doxa just died? Yeah, one tap by ADD without ulting or flashing. And then Turtle, after he hit the Chain of Corruption, I didn't see the Q or the E. So none of the Blight stack damage comes on the Bolulu. All right, so he QE'd the wave. And it's a good idea from Dragku, but you don't have any abilities as the Varus to follow up on the Blight stacks. So you can't get the big chunk damage onto Victor. Instead, Turtle, he's the one that gets chunked out. Chad takes him down easily. And then on the back half, Doxa gets one-tapped by ADD. And just like that, this game's all IMT.
You were just singing the praises of the bot lane from TSM Challenger, saying that, hey, they got it in them now. But then, yeah, Doxa, I don't even think he gets off the shockwave here.
No, he doesn't. He got stuck. Nice Q from Wixie to find him, but he had flash up. I guess he just thought the knockup wouldn't get him. From ADD, but him going down, I mean, any chance of winning that play goes wayward as, okay, Joey's stuck.
All right, TSM,
ADD.
as we're back to live, they got a nice
we have a shockwave
there. ADD should go down as well. Oh, the shockwave interrupts ADD, so he cannot land the second proc of the ultimate. That's a shutdown to Hanser, and 2 kills means that TSM Challenger, they should get this Herald. Chad might look for the steal. Doesn't get it. TSM, they win the fight, they get the objective.
Okay, I will give TSM some credit. That's a really good recovery. They had summoner spells up and ultimate spells up that they did not use in the last fight, so fighting immediately meant that they had cooldowns when IMT didn't, and they're going to continue that, trying to find Wixie, at least force him off the mid turret. That will be an outer falling in favor of TSM, along with Rift Herald.
Ooh, the game was looking precarious for a second there, Cubby. It was getting out of control. Man. But TSM Challengers wrangle it back. That is a big pickup.
A much-needed recovery from TSM as actually looking at this game. So curiously enough, Svenskeren not going for a Radiant Virtue this game. He's going for the Leandris. I think that puts a massive emphasis on what we're going to see out of TSM. It's all about the poke in the later stages. We have Poke Varus, we have an Ashe, we have Leandris on Maokai. It's going to be all about making sure they're able to skirmish and take away health bars without getting all in by IMT. So for me, if that's the case, eyes go on to Chad and ADD to see if they can find sound engages and find the fights against TSM, because in a raw 5v5, they're going to win with the DPS values on the side of IMT. But if it is, a poke war, TSM wins out on the war of attrition, and IMT will have trouble dealing with that throughout this game, as ADD's caught and he's in trouble.
All alone right now, he's tanky. It's just the support Ashe trying to take him down, so not a lot of damage, but the percentage health damage of this demonic embrace from Svenskeren is actually putting in work right there on the ADD.
And that will buy enough space for them to crash a wave into the bot inner. As with Herald, with 4 members here, you would expect that this is the turret. Now, Bolulu is basing, and it will be the Nature's Grasp committed to make sure they get this, but that's a TP behind, and that's from both ADD.
Yeah, double TP, ADD and Bolulu. They have no Ornn ultimate, but he can buy space for Bolulu. He's on to Doxa. Bolulu can get the damage over as soon as Doxa flashes right into the waiting arms of the Victor. And meanwhile, Wild Turtle was routed as well. Hanser teleported in just to ult back out. Svenskeren, not a tanky Maokai. He's not going to survive this. Who gets the kill credit? Give it to Bolulu. The Victor wants the gold. And Immortals Challengers again outplay the 5v5 fight.
It's good play. Again, if it's a straight-up 5v5 where health bars aren't chipped down earlier, TSM wins, and that angle from ADD and Bolulu made life so difficult for TSM, as that was an easy fight for IMT.
I love Bolulu's positioning there, too, with ADD.
Yeah.
These two solo laners from Immortals Challengers are playing incredibly well off of each other.
And Doxa just had no chance to escape there due to the angles that IMT found. And I know IMT, again, it's their first full week. From talking with the camp there, they're like, hey, ADD's really smart. Bolulu loves to make plays and play aggressive, and that's a case where, I mean, them linking up as a team here, this double TP is really, really good. We have no Nature's Grasp. Turtle doesn't, or he has Flash. I think he got
positions
caught
the other way.
Yeah.
He just walks right into Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my eyes were on Doxa getting routed, but Wild Turtle, he was afraid of ADD, and Hanser wasn't able to get there in time with the teleport to make space.
And Karen goes down 2 as TSM. Couple mistakes in this game. I do like the comp. I like the idea. I like the fact that they're showing that they can play a different style. But the execution, that was an overextension that IMT punished. And we have a pretty close game on our scoreboard. Even gold. Dragon coming up here shortly. See if IMT can find that big team fight, or if TSM can chip down those health bars before they can get engaged upon.
Next Dragon coming up here in 25 seconds. Both teams with one Dragon under their belt means that there's no early Dragon soul threat from either side, but it looks like both are positioning for this. This is where TSM's comp can work. Throw out the poke. Ooh. Asher goes a little wide from Dragku onto ADD. But if they can land this poke before the fight starts, it's good, but the fight has started. Chad just jumps right on in. Now he's the focus. Frontline versus frontline. We got a straight on front to back right now, but nobody is committing long enough to actually draw a kill.
Still is good for IMT. If they reset, they have some sustain from Joey to at least try and keep the health bars up. You can see the poke starting to add up on the side of Immortals, as Turtle using this wall nicely on the red side. Looking for the carries. IMT and Chad, they're the ones that have to buy space. I also love the second item Warbogs from Chad. That's a really good buy this game. He's going to get so much value with that against TSM's comp.
You can walk in, clear out all the Malcolm saplings that are doing the percentage health damage. Those will hurt a lot.
Another
in the
arrow.
Fights. Okay, arrow lands, but ADD buffers it. TSM's on the Dragon. Chad's walking forward. He is taking a lot of damage here, and it does take a little bit of time for Warmogs to proc and then heal you, especially if you keep taking damage, so I think Immortals have to give up this Dragon.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's not the end of the world for them to give up Dragon. They are going to make a play for the mid-outer and try and take over at least the top side of the map, so not the worst thing for IMT. I would be surprised they started Baron. I do not like this. It does draw out the 5v5.
Okay.
But we have a Scion
They're
ult.
approaching. No mana on Wild Turtle. He's going to have to play this one without a lot of abilities here. The rest of TSM, they're ready for the fight, though. How do they approach? They need Hanser to go in. Asher lands onto the tank yet again. Nature's Grasp. Doxa goes for the Shockwave. He hasn't used it yet. This is going to be a big Shockwave. It's onto 2. It's onto the carry. Actually, the support, but still, it works. Joey's down. TSM Challengers. They capitalize on Immortals' greedy play to go for an early Baron. They're starting themselves now.
Okay. This is risky, so we have Mogs for Chad. I didn't like IMT starting that because I don't think they have the health bars or the strength to survive. But now at TSM, they have the numbers advantage, but Chad's pretty healthy, and Bolulu can do a lot of chip damage here. Yeah, I think that's enough. Okay, so they just get Bolulu TP. That's okay. TSM showing some discipline there, and TSM playing well with their poke comp in this mid to late game.
Well done from TSM. With their limited resources, they were able to make it happen. They get 2 kills for themselves, no one gets to the Baron, and they even get the TP out of Bolulu. So this actually puts TSM Challengers back into a pretty comfortable spot.
Yeah. So guys, you're sticking on Baron here against Nature's Grasp and Scion ult. I'm not a fan of this. I respect, trying to find something when the Dragon was taken. This is a bit too much. As TSM, they have all their cooldowns up. So it's just Chain of Corruption, Arrow, Nature's Grasp. Everyone gets locked up by the Nature's Grasp. Bolulu gets caught. It's a nice Shockwave. There's really nothing that IMT can do to make this fight winnable. It's just the setup for TSM. These big ults, too good as long as they're keeping themselves at a distance. So again, we have to wait to see if IMT can find fights earlier and better execute, because Wixie he will significantly out DPS Wild Turtle, and he should be able to carry these fights in the mid to late game.
Lot of CC on TSM Challengers composition. If you're going for that Baron, you got to be ready to absorb all of that. Now TSM Challengers, they're actually the ones with the setup on the Baron, but Wixie's looking at Hanser, doing a lot of damage to him as well. There's not a lot of armor on Hanser right now. He went for the Force of Nature and then just a lot of bulk HP. So Wixie is at a moment where he actually can look to do some damage. And Immortals will actually start to retake control here.
It's tough, though, for Immortals. Again, this game is TSM favored at the moment when you look at the scoreboard. And once you have a game that's favored against Ashe Malachi, it is so tough to take back that space. You can see TSM just pumping out the poke, fishing with some of the arrows, and this could be a nice Nature's Grasp.
Chad's too far forward. He went really deep. The rest of the team's not quite there to back him up, and he is locked down long enough. And finally, TSM take him out. When you go for that Warmugs, it's about absorbing poke, not about surviving a long time in a fight where everybody's smacking you.
And that Nature's Grasp, it caught Bolulu and Wixie on the back half. So you're right, Chad, being too far up, that was too much with Smite off the table. We'll see if TSM sticks this. Bolulu is someone to look out for. Magic damage debuff, he can do a lot here at the Baron.
They don't have a lot of ults. It's going to be down to Bolulu. The Victor damage in the pit. He's got to output a lot of it right now. Baron's going down. It is secured. Immortals don't commit to the fight while they're in the pit. And now TSM have a lot more space to work with in a 5v4. Bolulu gets the damage down, but I think it's too little too late. They've lost Wixie. Bolulu's got Joey here to help him out. ADD's running away. They don't find anybody. Just lose their AD carry and give over the Baron.
You can see how much damage Bolulu can pump out, and honestly, he's the one to look out for in this late stage of the game for IMT. Of course, that bot focus from TSM did set Wixie rather far behind. Bolulu playing Leandri's Victor into tanks. He did a lot in this fight, but Chad going down, and TSM again playing this game calm, cool, and collected. I gotta give a lot of credit to TSM here. I think the more scaling comp for them, or giving them more options in the late game. We're really seeing that pay off for TSM, who haven't been able to convert all their early leads into wins, but have made this game look clinical.
Lulu went for the damage onto the Baron, as opposed to trying to get damage onto the carries of TSM, who actually played that very well. Anytime Lulu walked up, they walked back. It was all just Chad, or rather Svenskeren and Hanser on the actual Baron itself. And now TSM, what can they do with it? They get the outer mid turret, outer bot turret. They only have the tier 2 in the top lane now. They're even going on to these inhibitors here. Chad's trying to clear out the Joey. Hanser can absorb so much damage here. Nature's Grasp lands. That's teleporting from ADD. Well, the Forge God is available, but Immortals, they're chunked. The poke from TSM is doing work.
And you can see Draco, he finished the Imperial Mandate after that Baron, so that ECA is already halfway off its cooldown. And again, he's just going to be firing these off cooldown. Ashe so oppressive from ahead, not to mention the Hawk Shot with the range throws, the arrows too. This TSM, I mean, they're chilling this game. This is really tough for IMT to defend against once you have a Baron on the side of TSM.
The whole expectation flipped on its head here for how we thought the game would go. This could be the final moments of the game as ultimates are used against each other. That's
they got him.
Onto Bolulu. Flashes away.
Okay.
Flash off of Victor is huge for TSM Challengers.
They'll take that. That's well worth the shockwave from Doxa, and 2 inhibs are going to fall for nothing. So TSM going to go for a little bit more poke, but this should be the reset from them as they take the Dragon on the way out. Again, really textbook play from TSM, showing some of their experience as they play a slower game and are really giving IMT a tough time.
Draku, oh, I love
He's new, man. He's new.
That's just rude. Yeah, he's just picking on the new guy. That's fine. He gets back. He resets early to go get vision on top half of the map. That's a good support there.
Funnily enough, behind the scenes, actually Draku, you know who his roommate is?
I do not know.
It's Smithy, the coach of IMT.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So IMT and TSM, their offices are very close to each other. So it's works out pretty well. We got friends who are foes in this match. It's
gonna be real awkward at the apartment dinner tonight.
Yeah. Well, not if it's a 1-1. We're only one game into this,
true,
you know?
true.
And TSM still have to wrap this up again. I think a lot of TSM not being able to convert on these leads has been... a lot of their drafts have been more for early game, which TSM has cashed in on. This one is not. This one, you have a lot of tools to work with late game, and TSM's really showing that off, as this game has been very well played for them on the 4-1s with tanks, as that arrow does go wide, but we only have one more lane to work on here as TSM, and these towers, even without the Baron buff now, are still falling.
And they close it out cleanly as Hanser pushes in mid lane here. Baron buff has expired, but Hanser is walking up with the super minions, and as Sion, you can't really catch him. You can just ult away if you try and overload the map onto his side. This means that TSM, they're trying to get these waves to crash together. They successfully do it for this tier 2 top lane and are pushing in. I'd been saying this before, Cubby. This game just is not necessarily living up to how we expected it to go.
No.
The TSM focused top lane. Instead, they played through bot. The Immortals focus bot lane. Instead, they were just ganking these tanks up there and then not really playing as much to Wixie and Joey.
I was very, very surprised to see how this game ended up playing out, but also pleasantly surprised from TSM. And we know how much experience, how much success these members have had, so expect them to have a little bit more flexibility. But to see that be executed upon is great, as Joey counters with the tidal wave. And ADD has a decent angle here.
Oh, Svenskeren!
Yeah.
Remember, not a tanky Maokai, and Chad wants even more. Doxa, too far forward, trying to buy space, surviving
flash
for
from Wixie.
quite a while. Wixie picks up the kill.
Really nice flash from Wixie. He got out of the shockwave, so a mistake there, and a really nice play from ADD on the tank again. Make sure that IMT able to farm out a few more waves, a few more lanes, and we'll see if they can survive for the next dragon, as of course TSM, they do have soul point in their, what do we call that? The dragon inventory? The dragon counter?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kangas?
The dragon stock. How about that?
The dragon stock?
Yeah, you got stonks going up.
I mean, it's also feels like stock of like beef or pork or something. We're just stocking up the dragons.
Multi-purposed.
Look at, I really like this flash from Wixie in the back half. So first off, ADD, that's a great angle and a really nice Call the Forge God. But Wixie, he's going to Gale Force forward, flash out of the shockwave here. Well done to make sure that Doxa falls. It's worth the flash. It will be a cooldown that will not be available for the upcoming dragon fight. IMT use it to at least live another day. And again, all eyes have to go towards Bolulu. I will say, it's a 4K gold lead for TSM. There still are ornaments that are now in the inventories of IMT, as we saw that upgraded Leandri's Torment. And oh boy, AD is just sending it.
They see Wild Turtle. They throw everything at him. He's still alive.
He didn't flash.
Space. The rest of TSM have now joined in. The shockwave from Doxa onto the entire front line. But Bolulu damage! Shredding through the health bars. Bolulu's down, but did he do enough work? Wixie's gonna have to step up now. ADD and Hanser have exchanged who's frontlining. Hanser's winning the battle, though! Hanser showing up huge on the Scion. Chases down Wixie for the double kill. Doxa's got the speed ups. Joey flashes away. And TSM Challengers win the late game team fight. Ash Arrow doesn't land onto Joey, but they don't need it to take the game. Damage in the fountain. Can they take him down? Oh, he goes golden. He's selling all the items. Oh, he tried to buy the stopwatch for the second stasis. Doesn't get it off. TSM Challengers will take game 1.
I gotta say, Wild Turtle not flashing in that last fight was pretty crazy to me, but none of the damage that TSM had in range could follow up, so Wild Turtle showing some really good trigger discipline there to make sure that he was able to still, tank what he could. He stepped back. He survived. He had the flash available for when someone like, Bolulu was going to try and go forward and do damage. Bolulu tried to one-shot him, got taken out. And TSM, I got to say, much different look from them, but one that was welcome as they put a win on the board and they looked really strong in that game.
Wasn't how we expected the game to go based on how TSM had been piloting their compositions before. But it was still a win in the books, and it looked pretty good doing it. And honestly, Wild Turtle not flashing, I think kind of baited Bolulu to get too close into the fight. And then he got a lot of damage off, but he got blown up. And then without that Victor DPS, the fight was over. So we're going to send it to a short break here while we get ready for game number 2. But while we're in our break, we actually had a chance to sit down with Bolulu and chat a little bit about his gameplay so far. So we'll be right back after this.
I'm Joshua Joshi Howard, joined with the mid laner here for Immortals Challengers, Bolulu. For the younger players who are trying to go pro, for anybody who's just watching this for the first time, we're going to try and help you guys get a little bit better by getting into the mind of people who are way better than us. So this first clip that we have is from your debut game against Team Liquid Challengers. It's one of the first places where it felt like the game had equalized.
I know that this is a good area for us to fight because their AD is like bot lane. The AD is like bot lane, so we have a man advantage. And I know that Zoe is especially really good in skirmishes early game. So whatever happens, you just want to fight with Zoe, because if they use Flash, Ignite, Cleanse, you can just pick it up, just like rush on them. We're saying that we're going back to our lanes, so like we're going bot, and then we see that APA is walking up a bit too close, and he has no Flash. So when we see this, I'm just calling Chad to just ult on this guy, and we committed on him and he died. We didn't really plan it, but depending on what the enemy does, you can always change your plan.
We were a little bit surprised about Wixie flashing over the wall. What were your thoughts and what were the communications like at the
I didn't really
beginning of
see
the play?
that one actually. Can we watch that again?
Yeah, he's over here on the wall and he just goes over.
Wait. I didn't see this one. Oh, it's kind of troll actually. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. But sometimes when you're like strong calling something and everyone just wants to commit to the play, so I respect that. But yeah, it's definitely wrong.
This fight is where you guys go from pretty even to suddenly in the lead. Well, let's take a look at the actual clip itself, and you can walk me through some of the things that you were thinking about during the fight.
I think now we won this fight now.
Yeah.
Because like they overcommit everything for Chad and they couldn't kill him. I see a few flashes on the ground, so it's just yeah, go. We're just saying go. It's like this, not much thinking. We just go for it.
What are you thinking about in order to get yourself to stop here, not run forward, and potentially take an extra tower shot?
So he has more damage the longer you are from the target, and also not risking getting killed here.
Yeah.
So and also I have a flash, so no matter what happens, I'll always be in range. I could even be more behind to have more damage here.
One of the things that I was most interested in looking at this one is you're teleporting in over here, and there's a decision point where you can choose to attack Shochi on the Tryndamere, or you can go and kill Perry's Maokai, and you choose to go kill Perry's Maokai. Why do you do that?
Because here, we know that Maokai has no flash here. We're perma-calling it that he has no flash. Tryndamere has his ult, so he can always buy time. I might not be able to kill him. He has Ghost, Flash, and his E to get away. So that just, in my mind, I'm just ignoring the Tryndamere and going for the Maokai here. Because he's dead. After he's dead, we're going to chase them down with all the team coming. So it's just a clear decision for me there.
Yeah.
And here they're all out of position. I can get the Maokai R, get a good angle on the R, and we just chase them down. So
the big decision you saw was like, it's not obvious if you guys can kill Tryndamere, but you're guaranteed to kill on Perry.
Yeah, exactly. We're already won this fight, by the way. Like, this fight is already won. Like, the point I pressed this TP, and ADD is flanking from top side, there's just no way they're getting out of here. Now we just have to think, how can we kill the most amount of people here?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like not helping my team here. I'm just going for Perry. And I know that my team will handle these other guys without even looking. So we just gotta like round them out like sheep and just try to get him as much as possible.
What noise do sheep make in Swedish and Turkish?
In Swedish, it's bad.
Bad. What sound does the rooster make?
So in Swedish, it's we say kuckeliku, klockan är 7. Kuckeliku is the sound.
Yeah.
The time is, and then klockan är 7, the time is 7. So like
Kuckeliku.
and you say so you say in the morning and it's like the time is 7, wake up. Okay, so we didn't start off the season very good. We're 2-7 now, I think. Bottom 12. But I have confidence in the team. We're improving very quickly. So keep cheering for us. We'll make it to the top again. So keep watching us, guys.